ऑल राइट, बेकी बातें पॉडकास्ट में आपका स्वागत है. दिस इज द लॉकडाउन वर्जन जहाँ पे आई एम रुजबे एंड along with me I've got a very dear friend and a very popular star, Mr. Aman
ओहो
Bajaj.
ओहो
Welcome,
वाह
Aman.
वाह वाह
So,
थैंक यू
we
थैंक यू
we are piloting this right now, and we are trying out something where दोनों पकड़े थे. It's lockdown over here, level 4, and I think I get a feeling. वो Three Idiots. Have you watched Three Idiots?
या ऑफ कोर्स
हाँ, तो उसमें वो होता है ना कि जब दोस्त फेल होता है तो बुरा लगता है, लेकिन जब दोस्त फर्स्ट नंबर आता है तो और भी बुरा
तो
लगता
और
है.
भी
वो
वाह वाह वाह
वैसा टाइप फील आ रहा है मेरे को ये बार, बिकॉज द होल ऑफ न्यूजीलैंड इज नाउ ऑन लेवल 2 एंड वी आर स्टिल ऑन लेवल 4. तो
ट्रू तो लाइक
डू
खुशी
यू
हो
फील?
रही है या खुशी हो रही है पर फिर भी मतलब देयर इज अ टिंज ऑफ साला क्या हो गया
हाँ, हम लोग ही क्यों फंस गए ना ऐसा ऐसे टाइम.
एग्जैक्टली
But anyway, so today what we're going to do is we're just going to have our random bheki बातें जो हम करते हैं. और वैसे before we get into it, Aman, how are you feeling today?
आई एम ओके यार आई आई मेड समथिंग in a slow cooker for the first time. I had a slow cooker lying for the last 2 years or 3 years. So I think I actually spent time like making a recipe from scratch. I still
Wow.
haven't tasted it, so I don't know how it's going to be, but it looks very
Okay.
nice.
So what did you make?
I made a pork shoulder honey soy pork shoulder roast.
Sounds so
Wow,
Kiwi, bro.
I know, right?
Very
But at
nice.
the end, it wasn't spicy enough. I grated some red chilies on top and added some more masala. So I had to add a zing to it.
Did you use any recipe?
Yeah, Delish karke, there is this online I just found. So, but
Cool.
then obviously I had to add some desi tarka to it.
Exactly. But
Mm.
actually, it's a good segue for us, because now today's thing that we thought of, we're
Mm.
going to talk about uh, growing up in India. So, growing up in India, one of the most essential things for us is the food, right? Like, जो India का खाना है. Just to ask you, so when you go back to India,
Mm.
what is the first thing that you look forward to? Like after meeting your family, obviously.
I think it's food and people, right?
Yeah.
In that. So food ghar ka khana obviously is something that you've missed. maa ke haath ka khana, wah, wah, wah. But then also all the places that you used to frequent when you used to stay there or any new places that opened up. And I think that's one thing that just makes the trip more appealing. And I don't know about you, but from time to time you get the Delhi belly, or I'm from Calcutta, so Calcutta belly also. So then you're down for a couple of days as well. But it's like a rite
Oh
of
yeah.
passage.
Yeah.
Training
Yeah.
हो जाता है.
हाँ.
हाँ,
मेरे को आज तक ना नहीं हुआ है actually. I've been like so many times. I
हाँ.
haven't had any trouble, because I think the reason is over here also my food is generally very Indian, very desi food.
Yeah, but even mine is I don't think it's just about the Indian diet that you're getting here also, and we're lucky that you can get pretty much everything here. I think it's maybe just they say it's the water sometimes, like especially if you're eating like
Yeah.
street side and on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that doesn't stop me.
Yeah.
I think your system gets used to it,
Yeah.
you know.
I think, and I have been someone who's had an upset stomach all my life, so I don't care when my stomach is.
ये तो पीकू प्रॉब्लम हो गया
हाँ, वो वैसा you're right. हाँ.
है.
But and actually talking about just today only I had a scare. Um,
अरे बाबा.
मेरे को ये बाद में कट करना पड़ेगा यार, घर वाले देखेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. But I had a kidney stone pain this morning.
Oh shit.
So it was so bad. But then as soon as I reached the doctors, pain chala gaya. But then I was like, okay,
But
chal,
you
cool.
still got a scan or something or no?
No, scans are only happening if it's life threatening. So we can't
Okay.
do a scan right now due to level 4 restrictions. But then I've got all those, so dete tumko dawai wawai, all those things. So it's
Uh-huh.
fine. Yeah. But anyway, we digress. So looking forward to food, the other thing that I personally have about food is, it's not just the food that you eat, but it's also the memories that you have had having that
With,
food.
yeah, the nostalgia.
The nostalgia bit, like meko aaj bhi,
Mm.
I crave dabeli. um
Mm.
but dabeli, I crave that memory of that dabeli actually, because I can have dabeli here also. But wo jo
Mm.
wahan pe wo sadak pe khade reh ke jo khane ka wo feel tha na, that is something
That
that
you can't recreate.
you
Yeah.
can't recreate that. But having said that, that doesn't get recreated there also, because when I go there, and I don't know this, if this happens to you, um
Mm.
how long do you go to India for, roughly?
Last two trips have been really short, unfortunately. But
Okay.
usually I try at least a month.
Yeah. So I try usually 6 weeks, more than a month.
Arey wah.
And
Nice.
but क्या होता है, after second week I get a bit lost. I'm like, oh God, okay, अभी क्या करूँ मैं, और 4 हफ्ते हैं. What do I do? Where do I go? Because all my friends are busy, na? They're working and they're here and there. They're nobody's. I'm from Nasik, so nobody's in
Mm.
Nasik. Mostly they're in Pune, Bombay, or different places. So I feel very lost. Do you also feel that, like, but you go for short trips, right?
Yeah, I guess like short trips is like it's short and sweet, but then there's also that feeling of, oh, I wish I was there longer.
Yeah.
And when you're there longer, I think you don't have a routine and your friends have a routine, or your friends aren't there. Like for me now in Calcutta, there's very few people, very few friends who are still there. Um, but then family is still there, so that's still enough to give you something to do. But yeah, I know what you mean, that you then wonder that, okay,
Uh-huh.
something's different. It's this weird like feeling of um, this is home still. Like for me, Cal is still home. But at the same time, now I just was thinking the other day, it's been so many years that I've been here that I don't know, in terms of routine, I've never actually worked in India, for example.
Right.
Like I came here when I was 18, so I've always just worked in New Zealand. So I don't even know what that's going to be like if I were to move back.
Wow.
And I did my uni here. So again, like it's very, yeah, I don't know. I think we're in a bubble here in New Zealand in the sense that you're so far away. And then when you go back, you're like, Array, like,
Mm.
I don't know with you if this happens, like, I get a shock with the prices each time I go back.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Array, I'm buying a samosa or something. I was like,
ये तो
and
5 रुपए का
and
होता था ना.
and here so everything's F post. So I'm
Yeah.
literally going and handling cash for the first time. So I
Yeah.
leave the house and I'll be like, oh, I'm taking 200 rupees with me for the day. And like my family is like, are you crazy? Like, what are you gonna do with 200 rupees? Everything has gone up in price and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
That is, I can completely relate to that, because वहाँ पे भी 2000 का नोट आया था last time ना. So I am like, my God, इतना बड़ा नोट क्या होगा? Like, what is the point? इतना
Yeah.
बड़ा नोट क्यों
कहाँ
है?
खर्च करूँ?
कहाँ खर्च करूंगा मैं 2000 का नोट? And then I went to a restaurant, and usually हम लोग जाते थे, like, friends. and मेरे friends भी ना बहुत अलग ही level के अय्याश हो गए. Like I remember them, जो cost cutting करने वाले लोग होते थे. Like, कि अरे 1/2
सिंधी.
कर लेते, ऐसा. अभी वो लोग अलग नवाब हो गए. And I don't know why they are नवाब. They feel कि अरे रुज़बे आए, न्यूजीलैंड से आया है, तो चलो.
दिखाना है.
हाँ. तो भाई, and in New Zealand, I don't know about you, but I never drink outside. Like I rarely will drink outside. It's usually you do pre-drinks and then you just have like a drink or two.
Yeah, yeah. शगुन का.
शगुन का, हाँ, just ऐसे glass है, है पिया. But इंडिया में अलग concept है. इंडिया में पूरा दारू out होते हैं बाहर.
अरे
So
और उधर एक एक ड्रिंक इज लाइक हाउ मच या आउटसाइड दे लाइक पार्टी करना है और बाहर पार्टी करना है.
हाँ.
लाइक घर में पार्टी करके फिर जाओ.
हाँ हाँ
नहीं.
exactly.
हाँ.
नहीं, बाहर पार्टी करना है. घर पे
हाँ.
क्या पीने का फायदा? So
वही तो.
and then we went out, and then I was like कि चलो ठीक है, I had some money with me, this and that. And then सब order हो रहा है, सब हो रहा है, सब. We had a great time. And then at the end, we did the bill and I was like, let's split it, जो भी है.
Hmm.
तो split करके भी per person 6,000 7,000 आया यार. मैं बोला ये क्या
Where did
है?
you all go?
We went to
Where
a
did you all
very
go?
nice, very nice
Must
restaurant,
be.
like a good
Okay.
one, where the drinks were
Yeah.
also very expensive because in India also you can't drink everywhere. Like there's only like now limited places. पहले हम लोग पीते थे ठेके पे, that there was एकदम ही.
Take it back.
It used to be called Kaka Ka Dhaba or something like that.
Wow, wow.
ऐसा तो
I'm sure you can still drink there. It's
yeah,
just
we can
that.
still drink there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it has become a bit more risky now because अभी risk किसको लेना है ना. वो टाइम पे अपने को
अच्छा.
we didn't
हाँ हाँ.
realize that
Yeah, yeah.
because
Youth.
those are those places जहाँ पे मारा मारी होती है, ग्लास फूटते हैं, ये होता है
हाँ
होता है. And
हाँ
now
हाँ.
we are like भाई अभी we don't want to get into all those things. At that time it was
हाँ.
adventure, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it has changed. So actually I want to get to that bit now. So growing up in India, do you think
Hmm.
that growing up in India has made you tougher as a person, or it doesn't matter?
I don't know any better, but I guess yes, in a sense, and maybe it's also not just about the place, but also about the time we grew up.
Right.
Hello,
Yeah.
dude, your videos. Okay, now it's back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying was that I think it's a function of the place as well as the time we grew up, because I think we were the generation who saw that pre-internet, then dial-up internet,
Yeah.
then you know.
Yeah.
So
A lot of memories with dial-up internet
so
also. Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
and then they're like, get off the. I need to make a call, get off the internet
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
So that sense of innocence was also there, and a certain level of naivety, which like today's generation, they have access to the world at their fingertips from the time they grow up. So like I remember, when you wanted to even like find out about like, I don't know, this is PG-13, you can edit it or something, but
Yeah.
if
Go ahead.
you,
Go. अपना वैसे भी
yeah, but
13
if
के
you
अंदर कोई सुनने नहीं वाला है.
but like sex or something, I
Yeah.
remember like, dude, like for me, I remember very vividly, we were studying reproductive system in class 6 or something. And there was a diagram, just a diagram of male and female reproductive organs.
Yeah.
It's a diagram. It's like a X-ray, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, look at this. And like they would make, I don't know if they did this in your school, they would make us stand up and read from the textbook.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. So when the teacher didn't want to teach, they were like, stand up and read chapter one. So if one person is reading literally what's on the thing to the entire class. And like I remember like there was like the word sex, saying that male sex organs, and the guy who was reading it couldn't
Laughing and giggling
say
and
it. Yeah, he couldn't say it with a straight face.
yeah.
And I was just like, can you imagine like teenagers? That was our level of awe, And
Seriously.
you think of like this generation's teenagers, they're like principals of the school that we were students of, pretty much.
100%. And I can so relate to this because I used to be around a lot of 13-year-olds over here.
Why?
No, because I used to be a part of a dance class, and then there were a lot of
Oh,
young
right.
teenagers there who were part of it.
Uh-huh.
And then I used to hear them talk, yeah, and they're talking about, oh, I went on a date and I went this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, gosh, like, we didn't even like speak about those things. I'm not sure if I never went on a date when I was in school, but I was slow.
Okay.
But then I knew my
Okay,
friends.
you made up for lost time, no?
Yeah, I think they say now every person has got their golden years, like 10 golden years. Mine
You
started a
didn't
bit
peak
late.
too early, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay. Anyway, we digress. But so the point is, even talking about like sex education. I don't know how your sex education went, but mine was completely ऐसा ऊपर से, because they put a projector on. वहां पे लड़कों को अलग से बिठाया, लड़कियों को अलग रूम में लेकर गए, और फिर लड़कों को एक ही चीज याद है पूरे प्रेजेंटेशन में से, कि उसमें एक वो ऐसा स्केलेटन टाइप ऐसा दिखाती है, वो लड़की का एक, लाइक यू नो, नेकेड गर्ल, दैट आल्सो इज नॉट अ पिक्चर, इट्स जस्ट अ डायग्राम काइंड ऑफ अ
हाँ,
स्केच। बस वही याद
हाँ।
है मेरे को लग रहा है। और वर्ड्स जो यूज किए थे एट दैट एज, हु नोज दोस वर्ड्स यार, लाइक हमको तो कुछ आइडिया ही नहीं था।
नहीं, हम लोग का एटलीस्ट यू हैड अ प्रेजेंटेशन एंड ऑल। हमारा स्कूल इतना बजट था, कुछ सेक्स एजुकेशन था ही नहीं।
हाँ
ये चैप्टर में लिखा है सेल मेल और फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव ऑर्गन and intercourse, and that's it. Then no
या,
one actually, we didn't have sex education only.
nobody
So,
explained ना anything.
and you at least had girls in your class. We were full boys school.
ओ यो।
So जो level of repressed, हे भगवान।
ओह माय गॉड, आई कैन इमेजिन।
हम्म,
हमारे यहाँ पे भी एक बॉय स्कूल था, डॉन बॉस्को। और
हम्म,
उसका एक खासियत ये था कि वहाँ के लड़के, बिकॉज एज सुन एज वी हैव एसएससी बोर्ड, सो 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक यू आर इन स्कूल, एंड देन 10th के बाद यू गो इनटू अ कॉलेज। वो कॉलेज बोलते थे
हम्म।
हमारे यहाँ पे, 11th
हाँ,
12th
जूनियर कॉलेज।
जूनियर
हाँ,
कॉलेज। तो जूनियर कॉलेज करते हो 12th तक, और फिर 12th के बाद यू चूज योर ग्रेजुएशन का फील्ड, एंड यू गेट इनटू योर यूनिवर्सिटी काइंड ऑफ। सो बेसिकली डॉन बॉस्को के बच्चे, एज सुन एज 10th खत्म हो जाए, वो लोग दे आर वाइल्ड कुत्ते। वो लोग, हर
खुला सांड।
डॉन बॉस्को का लड़का कोई लड़की पटाएगा,
Uh,
ऐसा गिवन था, लाइक यू नो, नॉट हर
Bal also they must be doing, na? Because that's another thing that our school, because our school was also Catholic, that Catholic school, and they were very strict of like, you can't have long hair and all. So
या,
pretty much anyone who could, the minute they got out of school, they're like, "Abhi bal badana."
हाँ।
That's your level of freedom.
बाल बढ़ा सकते हैं, फिर यू नो यू कैन डू दोस अदर थिंग्स। वो टाइम पे ना, हमारे जमाने में ना वो आया था, वो पियर्सिंग, या फिर पियर्सिंग नहीं,
Studs.
बट स्टड्स, वो मैग्नेटिक स्टड्स आते थे,
Oh,
तो वो पहनने का ये वो, मैं भी गिल्टी हूँ, इवन आई हैड वर्न देम।
oh.
But like you know, and so now I want to compare, like, because you've done your uni in New Zealand,
Mm,
right? I have done my uni in India, ठीक है?
mm,
So we can compare actually कि क्या फर्क है दोनों यूनी में, ठीक है? तो
mm,
हमारे यूनी में तो attendance was not compulsory.
mm.
I didn't attend literally 5 days in all uni ke. No, I had attended only one person's lecture, because she didn't correct my assignment, because she was like, "मी तुला class मध्ये नाही बघितलं." I mean, I didn't see you in the class, so I don't know if you're in the class, so I'm not going to correct. So then she made us
Yeah.
come to the class for next 1 week, every day morning 8 o'clock. वो देखेगी हमको वहां पे, and then after that 1 week she corrected, like checked our assignment. So only one such example. But how was uni life for you over here?
I think I had high expectations of uni life being like, the best years of your life and all that. And then when I came here, I was like, लोग are quite पढ़ाकू here. I was like, भाई bunk करो थोड़ा. They were like, bunk word क्या का मतलब क्या है?
हाँ,
Yeah, because like I guess गोरे लोग didn't know what bunking means, the concept of bunking. And
wow.
either I think also they scare you. They're like any paper that I did, they said that we recommend 40 hours per week of recommended readings. I said 40 hours per week. I said I've never studied that much in my entire school life for this like level one paper you're saying. And I guess a lot of because everything is structured now, so the students are also like, haha, we must do. So they'll go and they'll sit and break their head. They're very dedicated, which I wasn't. In fact, I remember I turned up and I can't wake up early. I still have that problem.
Same.
So any class that was 8 a.m., I was like, there's no way I'm going only. So I remember we had an accounting class. I turned up for the exam after rata marrowing the night before
Yeah.
and having a panic attack. I turned up for the exam, and like one of the girls who I knew there, she was in one of my other papers. She's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I've come for the exam." But she's like, "This is accounting 291." I said, "Yeah." So I've come for that exam. She's like, "But I'm in that class." I said, "Yeah." So am I. She's like, "But I've never seen you." I said, "Yeah, I know." but I am in the class.
And did you pass that exam or?
Yeah, I got more marks than her.
So did you study accounting in school in like India?
I mean, just till 12, right?
हाँ 12th
So,
का हाँ तो वो sufficient था
commerce I
ना.
done. हाँ.
But so how many hours did you actually put in of studies?
Dude, I used to do last minute, honestly. Like, I just didn't understand, and I would rationalize. Like, either they'd do like multiple assignments, 2% के assignment. And I was
हाँ.
like, ये क्या 2% एक एग्जाम देके खत्म करो ना यार. Yeah, give me one big assignment for 50%.
हाँ.
Then I can understand. But ये 2%, then they'll do like weekly quizzes. So then the way I had rationalized was that class average they'll give you. So imagine if it's a 2% exam worth 2%, the class average will be 1.25 or something.
हाँ.
So in my head, I'd be like, why do I want to do this Magad Mari? At the
हाँ.
most, I'll get 1.25 is the class average. No one's going to get full marks.
Right.
So I'm only losing 1.25, so I want to try only. So I didn't submit the assignment only. And then what ended up happening was that, you lose out on so many assignments that in the exam you have no choice. You have to do well.
Oh my God. So ऐसे छोटे छोटे assignments you just let go. So you were the real accountant. You were actually using your education towards.
Yeah, applying it. Cost benefit analysis I was doing.
Wow, yeah. But apart from that, how was the learning process? मतलब अभी मैं मेरा example देता हूँ. हम लोग का ना I tried to attend a few sessions, like
Yeah.
lectures.
No, even I went. It's not like 3 years I
हाँ.
didn't do anything. Yeah.
हाँ. नहीं, I attended, but मेरे को कुछ वैसे भी समझ में नहीं आया. Like they are just doing some. I don't even remember. Like literally, it's so bad. I don't have a memory of a single class that I've attended. I only remember one class. I attended French class, uni में.
वाह.
और वो मजा आया क्योंकि वो जो टीचर थी वो like she was very interactive and yeah, that way. But I don't remember what she taught. But the reason why I
So
enjoyed
what did
that.
you do? What did you do for those 3 years? 3 years था ना
Okay.
तेरा course?
So basically, I was trying to become a CA. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
So so I was actually doing my articleship, जो होता है ना
Okay.
internship type. I was doing that in Bombay, but my my uni was Nasik. So
वाह.
what I used to do is my friend in Nasik, Sagar, he used to, हमको हमारे पास journals होते थे, वो journal लिखो भरो वैसा. तो मेरा सागर मेरे घर पे जाके जर्नल ड्रॉप करता था. मेरी मॉम जर्नल फिल करती थी.
वाह.
एंड वो सागर जाके
Submit.
पिकअप करता था एंड सागर यूज्ड टू सबमिट. तो जो तू बोल रहा है ना छोटे छोटे असाइनमेंट्स, वो छोटे छोटे असाइनमेंट्स वो मेरी मॉम फिल करती थी. अभी सीन ये हुआ. I was now, it was time for me to do the final assignment. ठीक है. So the final assignment was a bit longer and I was in Nasik at that time. I was on a break. But then he got the book. I opened my journal. I'm like, Mom, this is all your handwriting. So now last assignment, how can I have my handwriting? Teacher will know that it's not mine. So you will have to write it. So my mom had to write the last assignment also. She was so sweet.
वाह.
So that is how
That's cute.
my uni I went through. Like, I attended a few sessions, but one thing that happens in unis in Bombay, particularly, are a lot of festivals and a lot of fun activities, which I missed because that
Inter
Nasik
college.
mein nahi hua. Inter college and all, so I missed that. But what about you? Like, did you take part in anything over here as such?
They don't have that concept here, right? Like even I thought I had heard, I remember Fest. It's such an
Yeah,
Indian college like kind of culture. I thought ऐसा there will be even here, but नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. At the most, I joined clubs over
right.
here. So that's something but that's all. I guess the interaction that you have with other students from other programs. So you're not limited to just the people in your class.
Right.
So I think most of my friends that I met were at the hostel that I was living at and also through clubs or whatever.
Nice.
and that's where you have that extracurricular activities that come into play. Because
But
hmm,
one of my friend like who has done uni over here,
hmm,
she said like there used to be like bubble party and foam party and all those things. Yeah.
O-week party,
Huh.
and also it depends which program you're like they have these things called steins, which is like a ball effectively, like a prom type.
Okay.
So so like different faculties have their own stein. So engineering stein hai thing, then the medical students have their own one, which is like, a proper prom type party.
Right. Huh.
So it depends. If you're in that program, then you can go, but you can still go to the other ones, but you still need some kind of like they sell tickets and all that. And
Right.
during orientation, there'd be parties and all that.
Huh.
So
Huh.
I think
Orientation.
it's dependent on which which course you're doing, and your batchmates and all that also. Because if you're doing engineering, then it's the same people who will be doing engineering throughout for 4 years. So you get to know them well. Whereas if you're doing another course where there's a lot of like different papers
Hmm.
from different programs, then you might not necessarily be with the same people throughout for 3 years.
Right. And plus, you can do double majors over here, na? Matlab, you can
Huh.
do two.
Double majors, you can do conjoints, so you
हाँ
can do 2 degrees together for
हाँ,
five
टू
years.
डिग्रीज एंड ऑल, या
Yeah,
अब मेरे को तो
which
फंडा
is
ही नहीं समझा 2 डिग्रीज कैसे होते हैं एक टाइम पे.
yeah, but that's the thing. Actually, that concept is really cool because it doesn't mean that if you're interested in, let's say, accounting,
हम्म.
you don't want to. You might, like you said, French. You might want to do a major in French.
हम्म.
India, mein, where you will get that combination. Whereas here you can. Like
हम्म.
I know one of my colleagues itself. She did music in French, for example.
वाओ.
Someone did psychology with finance.
या.
So it's then they'll do politics, French, and like
लॉ एंड
some other
वन
and
मोर थिंग.
music. Yeah,
ओके.
theater studies. So that flexibility is there, which is good. So you get to select what you are genuinely interested in, um, which is cool, I think.
Yeah, and actually that's very interesting because I did BCom, okay, but
Hmm.
honestly I didn't know at all कि BCom करके होने क्या वाला है
Yeah, because
मेरे
it's
को.
also और क्या करोगे, right? Like in the sense,
हाँ.
I feel that there needs to be after you're 18, they're asking you to make this decision. What do you want to do? I was like, how will I know? you know? Yeah.
But we actually it's so tricky ना, because then they say education is also very important, which I agree,
Of
completely
course.
agree. But मेरे को लगता है honestly मैं जो सीखा हूँ, it is not about the curriculum, it is more of life experience. Because
Yeah.
one very important thing that I want to get to is, so when we get into uni, there's always
Hmm.
one element that we have to encounter, which is ragging. मतलब
हाँ.
नॉट इतना लेवल का रैगिंग बिकॉज इट्स इलीगल
अभी
इन
तो कम
इंडिया,
हो गया.
बहुत
हाँ.
कम हो गया है, लेकिन फिर भी एक लेवल होता है. देयर इज वन
Hmm.
लेवल, स्मॉल टाइनी लेवल, जो सीनियर्स होते हैं वो होते हैं, थोड़ा होता है, हर जगह होता है. या फिर
Hmm.
एक कोई एक एक ग्रुप होता है, गुंडों वाला ग्रुप होता है. इंडिया में तो
Hmm.
बहुत कॉमन है. There's one
हाँ.
gundo ka group, so you have to be very like careful, or you either be very friends with them or you just disconnect, or whatever.
Avoid.
Don't
हाँ.
be in their radar or no. So how did
Hmm.
you, was there anything over here? ऐसा कुछ था scene?
घंटा. I think here it was more like in classes they had their own individual groups, and it's very difficult to form groups, especially if you've come from another country,
Right.
unless you find other international students, or like I had a ragtag bunch of friends from like different nationalities, but that was we were kind of unique. Otherwise, you'd have like people. A lot of the Indians would only sit with each other. A lot of the Chinese students would sit with each other.
Yeah.
A lot of Kiwis would sit with each other. So there wasn't as much interaction unless you were doing some group work and you were forced to work with, other people, which is good, which is what it should be.
Yeah. Because when
But
I came
ragging, I don't think.
ragging, मैं यहाँ पे जब भी आया, even I came here for studies, like I did level 8, and I
Hmm.
was in a kind of a private institute.
Hmm.
So we had major Chinese students, very few Korean, some Japanese, and major Indian. Like ये दो. What I used to do is I used to go and sit with the Chinese students.
Yeah.
मैं
Yeah.
बोला क्या फायदा है यार, मैं इंडियंस के साथ तो था इंडिया में भी, कुछ तो अलग
Yeah.
होना चाहिए.
Yeah.
बट
Yeah. Yeah.
परसेप्शन मेरे मन में था कि ओह आई एम गोइंग टू बी अमंग एकदम गोरे लोग.
And and also smartly, if you would have seen the prospectus or whatever there was, uh, prospectus में तो it'll be like और भिन्न भिन्न तरह के nationalities sitting together laughing दोस्ती. I was like
हाँ.
घंटा, and it came full circle for me because they were giving, I'll never forget this, at uni they were giving $50 voucher
हम्म.
to if you're selected to be on the prospectus and like for the next year. So I was like,
हाँ.
हाँ मेरे को तो उल्लू बनाया ही. Now my photo will be used to make some other Aman sitting in somewhere saying कि यार जाना है, मैं भी ये बन सकता हूँ. ऐसा
But
behind the scenes they used to they need to show actually. It's
uni
not
is really good,
necessarily
yeah.
like it.
They're giving $50 because I was part of that one for this institute that I was part of, and
हाँ,
वहाँ पे तो फ्री में. और वो ना पूरे कॉलेज में एक रशियन
हाँ,
लड़की थी, नहीं दो,
अच्छा.
और वो दोनों प्रोस्पेक्टस में हर जगह, हर किसी के बीच में बैठा है उसको. मैं बोला क्या है ये यार, मतलब क्या कर रहे हो. But they
Marketing,
exactly know now
marketing.
what the pulse is of the audience.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like if they would have put only you and me on the prospectus, कोई नहीं आता.
Yeah. No, but apart from that, like you always when you come, 18 is a very young age,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
तो
yeah.
मन में तो कुछ सोचा ही रहेगा ना. When you came here, you were like, अरे यार मैं तो मचाने वाला हूँ
Yeah,
इधर.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you come with hopes and aspirations, and
Yeah.
I think it's life that snuffs it out of you. So it's good you come with that positivity, and things work out. I mean, it has worked out, but obviously, nothing can prepare you for what it's going to be like. You can have as many assumptions of what it's going to be like based on whatever you've seen in movies or read or just your own delusions. Once
Yeah.
you get here, you realize that it's very different,
Yeah.
and then you make the most of it. But I think that's one thing that very quickly you realize that you're responsible for yourself here. Like like if you're in a certain state, then you have to. There's no one who's gonna help. You'll have friends and all who might help you out, but end of the day, you have to take that initiative in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one thing that I encountered when I was new is like I've been brought up in an English medium school. I've spoken English at
Hmm.
home, everything. I
Same.
wouldn't watch English series and all those things. I was very bad at that. But
Okay.
apart from that, English normal, Indian English तो बात किया ही है. But when I came
English.
here and I met my cousin was here and I met a few of his friends, and they're talking and they're cracking up, they're making jokes, and I'm standing there और मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि
Oh,
क्या बात
shit.
हो रही है. And I'm like far out, ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ यार. I literally got into that zone where I'm like,
Yeah.
भाई मेरे को इंग्लिश आता है कि नहीं आता है.
Yeah, नहीं आता है.
But
But
yeah.
but did that happen with the accent also? Because I had that where sometimes I'd say something. In my head also, I was like, yeah, I can talk English, walk English, bring
English
it
is a
on.
very funny language, yeah.
Yeah. But then over here, because of the accent, sometimes they'd be like, pardon, what was that? What was that? I was like, how else do I say it? I am saying it and I know I'm saying it. Then it messes with your head
Yeah, it does.
because you're like, this is how I always said it and people understood. So how can you not understand?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will be passive aggressive. They'll be like, oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, yes, harami. I mean that.
Oh God, man, seriously, and it really affects your self-confidence, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it does.
और छोटी चीजें यार, like like very small things, like that how when you pronounce that I वाला word यार, um, how do
I
you
want
how,
to go.
वो जिसमें I
Samjha.
होता है, so there's a way of either saying it me or my, that pronunciation. it'll come to me. It's
Okay.
basically, those particular words which
Huh.
can be pronounced in two ways.
All right. Okay.
But then, yeah, it depends. Yeah,
Either so they'll say like the E becomes I a lot of the times. Huh? They're like, can I
yeah.
borrow your pin? Can I
Uh,
borrow your pin?
uh,
I'm like, क्या भाई pin क्यों चाहिए तेरे को?
uh.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
think, and also it's funny because the Indian accent is made fun of a lot
yeah,
in media. Unfortunately, it is. But actually, the Kiwi accent's also made fun of a lot in the Western world.
yeah.
So I was like, भाई बाकी
हम दोनों
देश
पानी में डूबे हैं.
हाँ, and they are saying कि oh, sorry, we don't understand you. So saying accents really are unique, and I don't know how much of a effort then you make to change the way you speak,
Yeah,
because like sometimes you say it if they're not getting it. Like for
yeah,
me, I'm like, I'm not gonna change the way I talk.
yeah,
If you're understanding, this is how I'm gonna talk.
yeah,
But I might have a work voice which
yeah,
sounds a bit more friendly than what usually, or like, but that's a work voice. It's not the change of the accent
yeah.
per se.
Because
Uh,
my cousin who's been brought up here, he can easily switch in a Kiwi accent and in an Indian
to
accent. Yeah,
Okay.
easily. Like, and I've seen a lot of people here who can easily switch. Like, they'll be ekdam, like, depending on who they are around, they'll switch that
They'll
accent
change.
very naturally.
Huh.
Very naturally. Um,
But I mean, did you have like friends in India who
uh,
went for a foreign trip and वापस आके accent just after one trip? Do you have that?
I had a friend who went to US, and
हाँ,
I'm going to say they because I don't want to say he or she, but they
name.
stayed there. They stayed there for a month or so,
Hmm.
and when they came back, they were like, "Oh, एकदम वो accent मेरे को तो आता भी नहीं हुआ accent, but एकदम ही बहुत ही danger accent." And अभी मैं हूँ हरामी, ठीक है?
हाँ,
तो मैं बहुत फिरकी लिया. And then when I came here, I
हाँ.
realized कि अरे फिरकी नहीं लेना चाहिए था, अरे मुझसे सीख लेना चाहिए था.
But a lot of people, actually fall for it. They were like, अरे वाह, foreign से आया है. I was
हाँ.
like, साला 2 महीना 3 महीना.
देखो कोई बोला है तू जब भी वापस गया है कि अरे थोड़ा एक्सेंट में बात करके दिखा.
हाँ, they were like, तेरा accent, हाँ, that जैसे हो देते, तेरा accent कहाँ है?
हाँ.
I said, कहाँ है मतलब? तो like, नहीं, तू गया है ना अभी कितने सालों से है ऐसे.
हाँ.
तो
Yeah.
तो like actually even here people are like, अरे 13 साल हो गए तेरे. I said, हाँ भाई, वो पर तुम्हारा accent तो I was like, हाँ, that's by choice, you
मैं
know.
मेरे को मुझे I've cracked this. मुझे समझ में आया क्यों मेरा एक्सेंट नहीं पिकअप हो रहा है. Because what has happened is, and I think I can relate now more because even you are facing that same thing, right? Is
Hmm.
because we've learned the language in India. So
Hmm.
it's not that हमने यहाँ पे आके वो लैंग्वेज सीखा है. अगर तुम यहाँ पे आके वो सीखते हो तो तुम्हारा वो एक्सेंट आ जाएगा.
Yeah, I understand the schooling में if you've gone to school here, all your friends are talking like that, then obviously, and that's how the teachers are teaching you also, na, bhai.
Yeah.
But I'm still saying that it's crazy. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, which is
हाँ.
what I find problematic.
हाँ.
Because people consider कि नहीं, accent या pretend accent डाल के
Hmm.
it's a sign of you being more polished, or it's a sign of you being
Being
more
more what?
integrated,
Acclimatized.
or
हाँ.
yeah. But I'm like, actually no, like
Yeah.
it's brainwashing to the next level, right? Actually,
Yeah.
and your biggest way of rebelling is by not conforming to it and actually being like, no, this is what makes me unique and I'm going to stick to it. Yes, if I'm pronouncing something that's completely wrong,
हाँ.
then I understand. Champagne ko champagne bolunga, then you can tell me.
हाँ.
But how are you an authority to tell me, no, this is the way to pronounce this word? Like,
Yeah.
if someone tells me कि तुम pen नहीं pin बोलो,
हाँ.
I'll be like, नहीं, मैं pen ही बोलूंगा,
हाँ.
you know.
हाँ. Yeah. No. Yeah. Completely. इसलिए मेरे को भी कभी एक्सेंट जमा नहीं है to put on also.
Hmm.
I've
Yeah,
tried so much,
but
but
you
मेरे
have
को
a work voice.
I have a work
Work-wise,
voice, but I
work-wise.
think it's similar to this. It's so
Yeah, I'm
similar to
sure.
this. Yeah, because um, मैं बीच में try कर रहा था, like because I used to do phone sales.
हाँ
So I
हाँ
used
हाँ
to
हाँ
I used to put up a voice and I used to do like ऐसे proper वो करके फिर मैं बोला
हाँ
नहीं यार अभी जो है उसमें, because honestly I have realized one thing कि भले मेरा accent ना हो, भले मेरा pronunciation नहीं हो, but मेरा grammar तुम्हारे से अच्छा है,
हाँ, स्पेलिंग भी अच्छा होगा, I'm sure.
स्पेलिंग भी अच्छा है, हाँ स्पेलिंग भी, because a lot of times what happens is we are like हमारे टीम में like we are talking about something and there someone asks about some spelling, I'm the first one to say the spelling and I was worse at spellings school में तो मैं उसके लिए मैं बोलता
वाह,
हूँ कि नहीं
तो यहाँ का राजा है.
हाँ yeah but
मैथ्स भी बहुत बुरा है यार इधर.
मैं अरे oh my god I had a colleague, okay, and um her maths was like literally pathetic and मेरा maths भी इतना कुछ great नहीं है, but I think
अरे तो अकाउंटिंग तो आर्टिकलशिप एंड ऑल, व्हाट डू यू मीन?
अरे वो
आई एम
तो
श्योर
यार
इज
अभी
डिसेंट.
इंडिया में कैसे होते हैं वो अभी
अच्छा.
हाँ नहीं नहीं सीए का एग्जाम बहुत मेहनत से करना पड़ता है, बट मेरा लग गया था मटका, 105 मिले थे मेरे को सीपीटी में.
आई डोंट नो
200
दैट्स गुड और नो.
नो सो 200 मार्क का पेपर होता है एंड आउट ऑफ
अच्छा,
200 100 इज पासिंग.
ओके, यू
सो
गॉट
आई गॉट
105.
105 सेकंड अटेम्प्ट.
हाँ तो पास तो हुआ ना.
हाँ तो पहला इसमें पास हो
तो
गया मैं,
फिर
वो दैट इज सीपीटी ना, हाँ वो पास हो गया.
हाँ, फिर
हाँ
इंटर और फिर फाइनल.
फिर उसके बाद हाँ इंटर वो नहीं हुआ.
स्मार्ट डिसीजन. हाँ, यू
Smart
वर
decision.
सेइंग बिफोर वी. हाँ,
So,
योर कॉलीग.
my colleague, so she, I don't know, somehow we started talking about this maths or some calculation, and हर छोटे calculation के लिए वो calculator निकाल के calculate कर रही है. मैं बोला, dude, this is not like what is
So like
8
what was
plus
the calculation?
8 plus 2, तो उसके लिए भी calculator चाहिए. मैं बोला
हाँ
so and then she used to like take my test, तो बोला okay you are like that, okay I'll take a test, so she'll be like okay 5 plus this plus this plus this, how much is it? I was like okay this is the number, क्योंकि पता नहीं क्यों मेंटली होता है, कैलकुलेट
मेंटल में.
हो जाता है, तो कैलकुलेट करके आए थे, हाउ डू यू गेट दिस राइट, मैं बोला अरे बहुत सिंपल है ये, हमारे 5th स्टैंडर्ड में होता है ये.
बट
So
but that's the benefit of the Indian education system also, which I think like there are pros and cons for both systems.
I agree.
And I think my perspective, because doing uni here it is way more practical and all, but your fundamental foundation stuff that they drill into you, they're like 7 times 10 is 70. You keep ratta maroing, and at least a foundation level, like even on your
I know.
deathbed, if someone asks you what 7 times 10 is, you'll know,
हाँ
you
हाँ
know.
2 ones are 2 2 twos are
Yeah, two
वो
twos are, हाँ,
टेबल्स तो
they'll
उसको
sing
पता ही नहीं
and
है, टेबल्स तो पता ही नहीं है.
हाँ, tables छोड़
हाँ
दो, हाँ.
हाँ
पर I think that's one benefit of the Indian system, कि मार के it'll go inside you, inside your skin. But
yeah
I guess from a uni perspective, it's more practical, that how do you apply what you've learned, and you're not just so like when you do case studies or assignments, that is one good thing
yeah
over here. But
yeah
yeah,
but yeah very interesting, yeah. But thank you so much Aman, upon we've already gone over time. And
oh
luckily, this time Zoom has not told us that you're going overtime.
वाह, ना
But
साफ दिल है Zoom का.
I know, सच्ची में आज मैं just on the weekend ना I was we were having a games night and you know Pat, right? So
Yeah.
Pat was part of it and Pat करने के पहले ही बोल रहा था that bro सिर्फ 40 minutes का लिमिट होता है Zoom पे, it'll kick you out and this and that. And like मेरे को आज तक कभी kick out नहीं किया है Zoom ने, कुछ नहीं होगा. You would not believe, literally 2 बार मेरे को किक आउट किया उसने उस दिन Zoom ने.
अच्छा.
So we did like first 30 minutes 40 minutes, वो बोला बंद खत्म मीटिंग बदन खत्म, then we again went on, again 40 minutes के बाद again खत्म. मैं बोला Pat, you know it's the power of the subconscious mind, you said खत्म होगा तो वो हो रहा है. And
वाह,
आज देख आज नहीं हुआ,
वही
आज
हुआ.
सोचा ही नहीं इसके बारे में.
Zoom was feeling bad.
Yeah, Zoom was feeling bad to let me down, but now also proves that my track record with Zoom is still intact. But anyway, Aman, any last words on difference or growing up in India, or being here for 13 years? Any last thoughts you want to share?
No, I think not just India. I think when you get, it's all about gaining more perspective, and you get that when you live in another country. So, and that can be in any stage of your life. So, I think the more perspective you get, the more worldly wise you get,
Yeah.
or you might get more foolish also, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But it's just about gaining more perspective. So I think
Yeah.
like in this COVID world, hopefully that's still intact. We're able to travel
Hopefully
and
we
all.
get to travel, yeah, soon.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just came to me. So when you were here and you were in uni,
Hmm.
you because Auckland Uni, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So one good thing about Auckland Uni is actually वो जो prospectus पे दिखाते हैं
Hmm.
multicultural, it's
Hmm.
there. It's kind of there, right? Better than other places. Like you have people from different places,
You
little bit.
do, but it's up to you how you interact with them.
Yeah.
And it's also whether, like, if you have assignments and all that, then it facilitates you working with other people. But if it's a very, like, insular kind of program, then maybe you don't have that opportunity.
So
And you have to take the initiative.
did you take the initiative? Did you how was your like uni like friends
I,
wise?
yeah, I think my the biggest benefit I saw was living in the hostel. So you get to interact with people from, different parts of the world. Also, they're studying very different things. One might be studying medicine, one might be studying, like geography,
Yeah.
one was studying dance. So, that actually, I would say for me, from a friendship perspective and experience perspective, going to that hostel and interacting with people from different programs and different parts of the world was where I had that true experience.
Right. No, that and I just to get on that. So, um, which is one place like you spoke to someone from particular country or that way,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you were like, dude, this is so similar to being brought up in India.
Good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, and the other follow up question on that also would be that one place that you're like, I wish I grew up in this place.
I think so. I had a Samoan friend, and this I think like a lot of the Islander community is quite similar to Indian communities in terms of like
Joint
the
family.
family,
Yeah.
yeah, and like having like cousins.
Yeah.
ये भी मेरा cousin है, ये भी मेरा cousin है. That I found very funny that it's similar to the Indian culture, and you'd only know that as a result of interacting with someone from that
Yeah.
community. Otherwise, you won't know because where is that interaction going to happen otherwise?
Yeah.
So that's probably one thing that was an eye opener for me. And also coming here, dude, did you know how many Indians live in Fiji? I had no
No,
idea.
I had no idea about
I
that.
was like, in India, how do you know that half the population of Fiji is Indian or whatever, and Fijian Indian population is so large? Like in India, so you don't know only.
कुछ idea नहीं था.
And I
You know,
know
I'm
that
like,
Sunil
ये कब
Shetty is a
हुआ?
big head there. Yeah, I know they love 90s Hindi songs and all that. You
Yeah.
know, being an RJ and
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Kumar Sanu songs was like
Dude, they
massively
love
big.
Star Plus. Star Plus is their
Go
like
to.
it's Kapil Sharma जैसे Indians के लिए है वैसे Star Plus उनके लिए है. And
Yeah.
they are watching पहले के serials अभी मतलब and they're loving it. तो एक
But that
different
just
fan
shows
base है.
kaha Indians went, dude, and where when technology was nothing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like,
And actually, it's a very good point, and I hope somebody listens to this and makes a movie out of it, because it's history. It's Indian
mm,
history when all these
yeah,
people were sent to Fiji and
as slaves, yeah,
probably
and
getting
workers,
their
yeah.
struggles out, because a lot of people are so successful right now. Like one of
Yeah,
few of the richest people in Fiji are Indians.
yeah, yeah,
So I think adaptability is part of the Indian gene. That's what I feel.
yeah.
Like wherever
You
we
have to
go,
make do.
yeah. And I just like I know we need to end this, but do you do this where if you
Mm.
go somewhere and you see an Indian, like let's say you go to a grocery store, you see an Indian there
Uh-huh.
or any,
Huh.
do you talk in English or you talk in Hindi?
Uh, I guess it depends. Mostly Hindi, if I know, like if I'm going to like a place that I frequent,
Yeah.
because you can't assume. Like, also,
Yeah.
I know, like, there's South Indian, grocery stores, for example. So I
Yeah.
won't talk in Hindi over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There I'll talk in English, but yeah, otherwise, if you know that the person speaks Hindi and you've heard them converse probably, or you've been there multiple times, then I'll be like, भैया ये कहाँ है? That bhaiya also comes out, भैया मैगी कहाँ रखा है? Like, actually, when I hadn't had Maggie in a while, so lockdown, I just had this thing कि now lockdown is there, I'm gonna eat all the junk that I have missed out on or whatever.
Yeah.
ऐसा the urge was coming. So I said भुजिया चाहिए और Maggie चाहिए. So I went into this dairy and I was like, भैया Maggie कहाँ रखा है? And I was like, instant you've gone back to.
I know, man. But amazing. Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much for your time. It was
Thanks,
really
Ruzbeh.
fun having this chat with you.
Indeed.
Hopefully, we catch up again because the lockdown, it is. It's not been that good for us, right? This lockdown.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And
any
it's about
projects that are on
connection.
hold for you right now because of the lockdown?
We were going to do Boom Shankar, which was the comedy show
Yeah.
in Fangare, actually, as part of the Fangare Fringe Festival.
Wow.
So we were looking forward to that, but the festivals got postponed to next year.
Okay. It's good that it's not cancelled and it's postponed.
Yeah, yeah.
So when is Boom Shankar 2.0 coming?
I'll have to check with Bala. I think we've all thought about doing it, but it takes a lot of effort, and I feel like part one also we want to tour a bit more. But yeah, we'll definitely look at expanding it and all that.
It was
I wish I was a bit more productive.
Such a fun play. I think I'm going to say the best
Thanks
play.
for your support. You and Devika coming to the show and also giving a shout out. It really helped.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. And I would still say again, if you're doing it again, definitely we're going to be there anyway. Aujo. Yes. But thank you, Aman. I hope to catch up with you again and probably dive into your writing head and understand what it takes to be a writer.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Cool.
And I look forward to listening to you on the radio also.
Thank you.
Bangers you were playing the other
bangers day. Yeah, I learned this term right now recently. Yeah, that bangers. I'm like, okay,
bangers,
cool.
Yeah.
Bangers ज़्यादा use करना पड़ेगा. But very nice. Yeah, thank you, Aman. I'm gonna let you go.
Thanks, Ruzbeh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.